Okay. Hello. I'm trying a new method for live streaming because I have a whole setup here at home instead of using an iPhone that I can't really rely on too well. Um, I just did one of these. I thought that it had broadcasted, but I'm still trying to get used to this whole setup here. So this is my pad, and this is my whole home recording setup, and I'm actually gonna try to use it for live streaming for once. I've had this setup for a long time, and it's amazing how much I haven't used it. But you've been relying on smartphones and the like. But in keeping with the current hysteria and the current trend of social distancing, I'm going to try this out here at home. I just wanted to update everybody with respect to what's going on with Ancestors of God. Unfortunately, we've had to cancel, at the very least, our most current performance, well, our next one, which would have been March the 27th at the Airport Tavern with a band or two from Portland, and I'm a little disappointed about that. The Airport Tavern is a fun place to play on South Tacoma Way. But in order to sort of make up for that, if you will, we're going to be doing a live stream of our next rehearsal at 7:30 on Wednesday, and I think that Nick is going to be in charge of that on his social media platforms, being Instagram, being Facebook, and that should be interesting and fun. So I hope everybody tunes in for that. Today was fantastic. I put a couple of live videos up on Facebook the day before yesterday and today. Went skiing with a close friend of mine and also with my father, who flew in from Wisconsin in order to join us, and just had a fantastic time on Saturday. I was getting off the lift for my first run at 10:40 at Crystal Mountain, and it was just fantastic. We skied right up until the lifts closed, and then relaxed for a bit, and then went to get some food at the Alpine Inn. And that's when we were told by our server, "Hey, there's no more Crystal Mountain this year. It's essentially done." That was kind of a not a fun thing to hear, not a fun moment. But we ended up driving yesterday morning from Crystal Mountain to White Pass, and it really was a spur of the moment decision. And it couldn't be anything but a spur of the moment decision, given that we didn't know whether or not Snoqualmie, which is a lot closer, was going to be available as of the end of the day on Saturday night. The most recent update that we had from Snoqualmie, from the summit at Snoqualmie ski area, was that they hadn't made any plans to close, but that update was from over 24 hours before we got the news about Crystal Mountain. And these things update, and these decisions are made so quickly, and it's, as they're calling it, such a fluid situation, that there was no way we could have made a decision based on the information that we had at that moment. So it wasn't until I woke up on Sunday morning and checked online. Snoqualmie was not closed, but they were not selling any new lift tickets. But White Pass was still completely open and available, with some restrictions in their food and service areas. But that yesterday turned out to be their last day. So we hauled ass from Crystal Mountain down to White Pass, and just, man, I got to tell you, my very first time being there, and the area. There's a whole expanded area on the backside of the mountain. One of the guys I was with, my buddy Matt, he'd been to White Pass before, but he had never seen the new expanded area, which it has to be at least a doubling of the overall area of this park. And it's like we spent the first hour or so skiing and riding just on the main area, but once we just made a decision to take a different turn at the top of the mountain, it's like we discovered a whole new world back there, and the views and the scenery and everything was just pristine. It was awesome. But then they closed everything down today, so we were able to hit, in the space of 2 days, the last day at Crystal Mountain before they quarantined everything, and the last day at White Pass. And today was spent just driving around. There's this sort of triangle of volcanoes in southern Washington, the apex of which is Mount Rainier, and then you have Mount Adams and Mount St. Helens. And I just figured, if we're not going to be able to ski today, I want to just drive around and see some mountains, because the weather was just ideal for that today. So that's kind of what we spent the day doing, and then I had to drive my dad back up to the airport. A little worried about his health because he's going to be in an airport and then on a plane. But hey, I mean, he's a healthy guy. I'm sure he'll be fine. So this COVID-19 pandemic and the panic associated with it is something that I'm going to be commenting on using this medium as often as I'm able to, because I, fortunately, unlike a lot of friends of mine, don't have any major disruptions to my employment impending because of all this. That could change, I mean, the things that have happened and that are continuing to happen as a result of this are things that none of us could have really predicted or anticipated or prepared for. So who knows what might happen. But fortunately, I'm back to my regularly scheduled job tomorrow. Looking forward to that. And I'm sure that I'm going to hear many stories from my customers and from my coworkers alike. And I intend to keep a running commentary about that here on live streaming. And I intend to make as much out of the live streaming of Ancestors of God rehearsals, because that's something we haven't really tried before. I'm sure that'll open a lot of creative avenues that we have not before really considered. So that's all for now. We're going to see what we're going to see. And this is a fun way to do this, so I hope to keep it going. Until next time.